Mad Wolf here, as well as my partner in crime, Arctic Vixen. And yes, I have been drinking. First of all, I do need to say that I do apologize for the lack of video content lately. Stuff going on in the world has been digging its way under my skin and, getting inside and making my eye, twitchy thing, and then it digs into my cerebral cortex like a freaking knife and just digs in my brain and makes me not feel so good, okay? Okay, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Maybe I'll get into it and address that later. But like I said, I've been drinking some mead. Had about 2 pints worth today. So I'm good. Drink responsibly, children's. Anyway, so Arctic brought up some things when I got off work.
Yeah.
Namely Star Wars. Now, first of all, I'm really not into, the Jedi shit. Sure, it looks cool, but Han Solo is the shit. I'm sorry. He is. He's freaking the shit. So, he has the ship. He has, the woman. And he has the attitude towards the droids as to, dude, my furry friend is gonna rip your arms out of your sockets and beat you with it if you frickin' beat him at his chess game thing. And I don't know, it just kind of seems like that's my kind of character. But, yeah, so Arctic was bringing some things up. And I'm like, I have some issues with the entire Star Wars saga. And I don't mean like Rogue One and Solo. I'm not even going to get into those. This is just episodes 1 through 9. Because I need to cut the shit down somehow. So let's start off with the originals. And honestly, episode 4 is a great movie. I can't really think of anything really terribly wrong with it. Arctic, do you have anything wrong to say about episode 4? The first one?
Not that I could think of.
Okay. So yeah, even she says no. But, I have a big gripe with episode 5 and 6. And that big gripe, actually it's funny. Because it's a fan favorite character. And that's freaking Boba Fett. Now think of Boba Fett. Everyone's like, oh yeah, Boba Fett's so freaking cool. And everything. He has this badass armor. He's this bounty hunter. What does Boba Fett do? Arctic, what does Boba Fett do?
Nothing.
Well, he does a little more than nothing, but seriously, it's like...
But, if you're talking about something like major...
All he does in the whole series, he waits for Han Solo to drift off with the garbage and follows him. What does he do? Hey, Lord Vader. Did Han Solo guy actually escape with your garbage? I'm just gonna stand around, look cool with my blaster rifle.
I will say what's very sad was I kind of saw the animated segment of Star Wars.
No, we're not getting into that. That's the holiday special.
All I was gonna say on that was, sadly, he actually has a much better part in that, and even then, he doesn't do anything much.
Okay, yeah, that's the holiday special, the very thing Lucas wants to forget. I'm just talking about episodes 1 through 9, starting with 4, 5, 6, because those are the originals. So, yeah, so aside from following Han in episode 5, yeah, he doesn't do anything. He just stands around, he kind of bitches at Vader. What if he dies? He's no good to me dead. And then, what if he dies? He's worth a lot of money to me alive. And then the next line, load Han Solo into the cargo hold. And then he just disappears. All he does is stand around. No joke. Episode 6, Boba Fett's back. And you know what? He's flirting with the girls. He's all looking cool. He's nodding at the bounty hunter, turns in Chewbacca and everything. And then when shit hits the fan, Here's Boba Fett. What is his brand plan? I got a rocket pack coming back now. I'm gonna fly on that little skeeter, land speeder thingy, or Han Solo's. And sure enough, he gets hit with a stick and falls in a goddamn Sarlacc pit. That's it. You know, that is the reputation of the most badass bounty hunter in the entire galaxy, is he gets whacked with a stick and he falls. Well, actually, he gets whacked with a stick first. He flies into Jabba's thing. Then he falls into the Sarlacc pit. I guess I should give him credit. He shoots a grappling hook around Luke, which does absolutely nothing. But hey, you know, that's freaking Boba Fett, coolest Mandalorian all around. And really, that's all I can really say about episodes 5 and 6 being awful. Sure, there's like the Ewoks, but you know, friggin' episode 5 had C-3PO acting like a bitch. Episode 4 had C-3PO acting like a bitch. So I really can't complain about the Ewoks. It was nice. It was a nice change, I guess. Made it a little bit more child friendly. It is a little silly that the Empire pretty much was destroyed by a bunch of Ewoks, small teddy bears, but come on. So moving on to episodes 1, 2, and 3. Arctic, do you have anything to say about episode 1 specifically?
Kind of slow in my opinion.
I was hoping she was bringing up something else. She actually kind of likes Jar Jar. And I'm not saying that against her.
I do like Jar Jar. Yeah, he's an idiot, but I kind of like the idiot humor.
In comparison to any other Gungans in episode 1, I can't really say he's any more at fault than anybody else. General Janja! Use the boomer. I don't have a boomer. You're calling bombs boomers, okay? I don't know how intelligent Jar Jar has to be, okay? Plus, not to mention their king or overruler or whatever is just drilling all over the place and being like... So, how bad is Jar Jar really? Now, that said, you know, I mean, everybody recognizes episode 1 for a couple different reasons, such as the boring Senate scenes. Yeah, okay, they're boring. It's the origin story. They have to get into, you know, how the war started. I mean, looking at World War II, yeah, Germany invaded Poland, but hey, frickin' before that, there was a whole bunch. And, yeah, no one really wanted to deal anything with that, so they're like, hey, let's just give that guy more land. Let's authorize him to do shit. So, you know, episode 1 kind of had that same political bullshit going on. You know, I actually like the origin story of Obi-Wan in episode 1. I really like the pod racing. The pod racing in episode 1 is probably one of the 2 or 3 best parts of the movie. The second best part, actually, I would say, you know, Darth Maul is pretty freaking badass. He doesn't say much. He's not even a well-established character throughout the entire movie series. But he is the one thing that everyone actually does like about episode 1. Then there's the pod racing, which I'm definitely more in the minority there, but I like the pod racing. Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker, he's got some charm. He's got some cool things going on. And, you know, everyone's like, oh, he's so annoying. First of all, Ewoks. Okay? Second of all, C-3PO. So you want to talk about annoying? You want to talk about how the bad guys are blah, blah, blah? You know, first of all, Ewoks. Second of all, C-3PO. All I'm saying. Star Wars can have some annoying shit in it. Even if it's childish. It's fine by me. It's Anakin Skywalker. Who complained? So, yeah, anyway. So, moving on. I mean, like, yeah. I like Anakin. He's got some charm. He's, he flies spaceships and, it's funny. When people even make fun of, like, when he's like, it's working. It's working. They make it more like, it's working. It's working. And I'm like, what the hell are you referencing? Daleks from Doctor Who? Because that's not what I just called him Jar Jar Binks. Holy shit. That's not how Anakin sounds, dude. Like, he sounds nothing like exterminate. You're a Jedi, aren't you? I seen your laser sword.
I mean, it kind of would make sense considering he does pretty much exterminate as he gets older.
That is a good point. But no, he is not a Dalek.
No, he's not.
A third, Keira Knightley. A lot of people do not talk about this enough. Keira Knightley is pretty badass in episode 1. She has kind of a minor role. Yes, she's Padme Amidala's, side double person. But when I first found out Keira Knightley in episode 1, I'm like, who the hell are they talking about? Because it was an old issue of Game Informer or something. They're like, who the hell is Keira Knightley? And I'm looking up magazines and I'm like, oh, Keira Knightley. Okay, who the hell was she in freaking episode 1? And then I realized she's pretty much the queen when the queen has makeup. In other words, when the queen actually does queenly shit. Like, the Trade Federation has gone too far this time. And, I seek you out to form an alliance, or I sent Padme out on an errand, that sort of shit. Whereas Padme kind of is just annoying and is like, I'm the queen. I do whatever the fuck I want. You're gonna take me to freaking dangerous Tatooine City, okay? I'm sorry, but Keira Knightley, dude, she's got it going on. She is woman empowering and totally badass. And frankly, Hermione Granger, another English Czech actress person, you could just piss off because Keira Knightley's got it going on. And when she doesn't have it in Star Wars Episode 1, she's got it in Pirates of the Caribbean. So, yeah. That's all I gotta say about that. I'm sorry, Hermione. Moving on to Episode 2. I don't like Episode 2. I think Episode 2 is garbage. I think Episode 2... Oh, that brings me back to Episode 5. That was something else I hated about Episode 5, was Yoda. Yoda, the condescending, holier-than-thou frickin' douchebag who thinks he's better than everybody living in his goddamn swamp at the ass end of nowhere. Wars does not make one great. Yeah, now they're just sitting in the goddamn swamp while the fucking Empire is coming around just exterminating everybody, being the Nazis that they are, okay? So, burn on you, Yoda. You're not saving anybody. You protector of peace and righteousness, green asshole elf dude. And, so bringing us back to Episode 2. Everyone likes Episode 2. A lot of the people I know likes Episode 2. Likes it because of Yoda fighting Count Dooku. And I'm like, dude, this is probably them paying Christopher Lee. Matter of fact, George Lucas is probably like, hey, Christopher, so this is a big lightsaber scene. Well, yeah, where's my opponent? Well, that's the thing, is we're actually experimenting with this new technology. So what we're going to have you do is just swing your lightsaber around wherever. And, wait a minute. You mean to tell me I'm in a Star Wars movie? Why am I making Christopher Lee sound kind of southern? But Christopher Lee is probably like, I'm in a Star Wars movie and I'm not even in a real lightsaber battle. Well, no, we'll just digitally add Yoda in later, and we'll have him flipping around, and it'll look amazing. It looked like garbage. Okay, I'm sorry, it looks like garbage. Just hot, stinky, goddamn CG garbage, okay? The thing I did like about Episode 2... This is sad. Not Boba Fett. Boba Fett was awful. Boba Fett was like what made the movie the worst. Frickin' get him, Dad! Fire! Watch out!
I was trying not to laugh.
I kind of heard you, but not to mention, he just won't take a hint, this guy. I think we'll have to show him a few things. Heh. Fuck. Bring us back to episode 5, Boba Fett. Doesn't do anything, just stands around with his rifle. Yo, the captain. Maybe, you know, that's why Boba Fett was awful, because Jango Fett didn't do things. But, you know, the funny thing is, Jango Fett was probably my favorite thing in episode 2. Because it's like, dude, he's going toe-to-toe with Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's in the gladiator pit. He's actually shot some Jedi in that scene. And it's like, dude, he doesn't use the Force. He's just a frickin' bounty hunter. And he's actually doing shit. More shit than Boba Fett ever did.
Even though he met a very terrible demise.
Yes, Jango Fett does die, but as sad as that is to say, Jango Fett dies and does more shit in his short screen time than Boba Fett did in 3 damn movies, including fire, watch out, fire. Yeah, she does it better than I do.
Oh, because
doesn't matter.
Feminine voice, I could pull off kid voices.
Doesn't matter. She just pulls it off better than I do. She lacks the I have too much enthusiasm with shit. But yeah, even like the love story between Padme and Anakin, I'm like, well, dude, of course that kind of happened, and it's not really any worse than the love story between Han and Leia. But it does feel a little teeny boppery, and Anakin does seem a little crazy stalkery with, I'd much rather be dreaming about Padme. You know, I killed them. I got them ours. And I'm like, you know what? Dude, Anakin killing the sand people. I can see why you would be pissed off, okay? So, that's not even, for me, I'm not even gonna, that is a way better scene than frickin' Tobey Maguire crying in Spider-Man. I'm sorry, you know, his mom died. He hadn't seen her in years, you know, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And, yeah, he sees her die. And everyone makes fun of friggin', what's his name? Arctic, what is his name? Guy plays Anakin.
Oh, you're talking about older Anakin?
Yes.
Hayden Christensen?
That dude. Yeah, everyone, you know, they're just like, yeah, Hayden Christensen. I hate him. I'm crying. You know what, dude? Freaking, you're Darth Vader. Spoiler alert, you're turning into Darth Vader, and you're going to have some major pain behind you. This is someone you haven't seen in years. You do have a lot of anger. I totally get that. That's not one of the things that I hate about episode 2. My biggest gripe about episode 2, besides Boba Fett, that's seriously the biggest freaking gripe I have about episode 2 is Boba Fett. The movie doesn't really seem to have like a lot of plot. It's just explanation. Hey, you want to know where the clone troopers came from? There you go. You want to know what the Clone Wars is that they talk about in episode 4? Well, there you go. You want to know what happened to the Viceroys from episode 1? Well, there you go. You want to know where the Death Star comes from? There you go. That's it. That's all the movie is. It's just, oh, Boba Fett, you want to know what he looks like? Well, there you go. There he is as a child. He's a clone. He's a clone off of this guy. Okay? Okay, yeah, great. Yeah. By the way, this is what this guy looks like. This is who he is. Who the hell is Jango Fett? What did he do before episode 2? Oh. But it's Boba Fett's, like, clone daddy. Okay. Well, thank you for answering that question. So, episode 3, I can't, actually, no, there is one gripe I have about episode 3. There's one flaw I have in that movie. The movie, I think, in itself is great. I love episode 3. 1, 3, 6 are kind of like my favorites in that series. The only gripe I have is when Vader goes evil, he doesn't really fight any Jedi. He just kind of kills children. And I don't want to see any children dying, but you don't even see it. Okay? He just draws his lightsaber and then children are like, oh no, we're scared. And then it's like, next scene. And it's like, okay, I want to see Obi-Wan, or I want to see like freaking Vader fight against like Mace Windu. I want to see him fight against Yoda and all those people and put that little green asshole in his place. That didn't get to happen, but we did get to see the Emperor put Yoda in his place, and Yoda was promptly put in his damn place where he discovers, oh no, I need to go hide in the swamp because I failed. He literally does say that he failed, okay? So I'm not even like, not purposely trying to attack him, but my god, I hated Yoda in episode 5. And I'm so much better than you I am. And it's like, wow, you're kind of pompous much, aren't you, Mr. Jedi Master Dude? All peace and equality and bullshit. Fucking green elf space toady. So yeah, episode 3, yeah, Yoda gets put in his place with the Emperor. That fight scene I didn't have an issue with. I love the fight scene with Anakin and Obi-Wan. Moving on to 7, 8, and 9. So 7 is pretty easy for me to talk shit about. Not really talk shit about it. Because honestly, it was an entertaining movie. I think it was fine. I'm a little disappointed, like Kyle Katarn, some characters from my favorite shit hasn't emerged, whatever. But I think it was an entertaining, decent movie. I went to see it in theaters. I saw the 3D version with Arctic Vixen here, and we got our money's worth. I seriously felt like I could touch the Star Destroyers at specific 3D scenes. It was that amazing to me. The only issue I have with episode 7 is, 1, the characters like to run away. Like, seriously, like Han Solo, yeah, ran away long ago, and okay. And then Finn, I don't want to be a stormtrooper anymore. I'm gonna run away. And then Rey, oh, that's Luke's lightsaber. I'm going to get it. And as soon as she touches it, she sees all this horrible stuff, and then she's just like, I don't want it. I'm gonna run away. But that is the plot device that encourages Finn to go after to save his friend, who is now being taken by the new Empire, aka the First Order, as I like to call them, the Nazi assholes of space. And there's even a scene in there that literally did remind me of some of the footage I've seen of historical events that I will not bring up. But, yeah, the whole demonstrating the whole Super Death Star. Even Han Solo's like, so it's bigger. Was there anything else that I hated in episode 7?
Kylo Ren?
No, Kylo I thought was pretty okay.
Well, because
they reveal him who his identity is way too damn quick. I will say that.
That's what I was trying to get to. Was you were kind of upset.
No, that's what upset me about 7. I remember now. Thank you. Thank you so much for reminding me what made me pissed off about 7. It pretty much is Star Wars Episode 4 all over again. The whole plot of it. The whole, like, hey, we're running along in a trench. Hey, look, there's the thing. We're gonna blow it up. We're gonna destroy the station. Woo! There's also something else that bugs me about 7, is that they call themselves the Resistance. But after 6, the Empire is destroyed and the new Republic is formed. So, who the hell is this Resistance? Because we look at the French resistance, we look at the Polish resistance. They were people, just human freaking people, who had a foreign military forced on them. But the Empire is no longer a foreign military force. So wouldn't the Empire typically be like a rebellion now? I don't know. I don't get that. That seems like, who the hell is the Resistance? And they do blow up the New Republic, but it's like, yeah, but the Resistance already is formed by then.
Yeah.
So what's the point? So, moving on, episode 8. Yay! That was fast. So, episode 8, yeah, they pretty much made every male character either a moron or a bitch. And by that, Luke Skywalker, they made him hiding out like a hermit, like a bitch. Kylo Ren was like, Luke Skywalker gonna kill me in my sleep when I'm a child. I'm gonna beat you up and go to the dark side. That's his whole thing about going to the dark side was he woke up one day, Luke Skywalker was there with a lightsaber about to kill him, and he's just like, so he goes to the dark side and burns everything. Friggin' Poe Dameron, who I didn't even know who the fuck Poe Dameron was until Arctic told me that. And after she told me that, I'm like, yeah, no, actually, that's a pretty cool character. But, yeah, they make him a complete dumbass, in which they introduce this new purple-haired admiral chick, who you're like, who the hell is this? I don't know, but she's like an admiral, so we're supposed to respect her. Okay. And then she's making, like, these decisions. Yeah, let's just let everyone die, and let's wear out our resources. You should listen to me. I'm the admiral. And then Poe Dameron's like, let's have a mutiny. Because, you're acting like a dumbass. No, you're the dumbass. Here's why. After your mutiny, this is my whole plan all along. After our ships, and, like, thousands of people have died, I intend on shooting our escape pods. Why? Because the First Order is going to be focused on the ship. That is fucking bullshit. And yeah, they just made Poe like this complete dumbass who just sides with all of it. Now, I'm all for equality. I'm all for anything men can do, women can do. But frickin' Leia floating through space after being sucked out into the cold, cold black darkness that is empty, void space. And she's just like, oh yeah, by the way, bitch, I know what the Force is. I can float back to my ship and be completely fine. When the hell did she learn that? Well, she didn't. She didn't. She did not have the training from condescending Yelf asshole green man that is Yoda. So, and Luke never learned that trick. So even if she learned from Luke, it hurts my brain. Finn, they actually made kind of a cool character in this one, because he wants to redeem himself for the problems of his past. So I'm like, okay, so let's have this new character, Rose. Let's have her have a cool story. Okay, and honestly, Rose is the coolest frickin' thing in episode 8. Like, there's this whole Indiana Jones kind of feeling scene where they're at a casino and they're escaping from bad guys and they want to do stuff, and then Benicio del Toro shows up and he's like, I'm a lockpick master. Okay. But he sells them out because, dude, he's a lockpick master thief guy and like stuff and things, and then it leads to a battle. But once again, Rose is cool. Rose even makes it clear, like, she's like, dude, I love you, Finn, and blah, 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 and I'm here to save your life, and I'm willing to sacrifice myself. And it's like, dude, that is a good, strong female character. Way better than Rey, who's just like, oh yeah, I know the Force because I just know it. Well, I'm so glad everything was just handed to you on a silver platter, because it wasn't handed to Anakin, and it wasn't handed to Luke. All Anakin knew how to do was how to fly pod racers, and he was still a slave. He was a 10-year-old slave boy until frickin' Schindler showed up to save him. And yeah, Liam Neeson is the guy who plays Oscar Schindler from Schindler's List. Okay, I'm sorry. Enough World War II references. But yeah, just frickin', what's her name? Ray. Just knowing pretty much how to use the Force. And yeah, I'm talking to my toy boyfriend who's like the bad boy and he's kind of hot, but I don't want to look at him without his shirt off. That was weird. The main villain that we introduced in episode 7, let's just kill him off. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I don't even know what the hell to say to that, but there was like no real plot in episode 8 other than women characters that are badass. And we didn't, like, Leia was badass in 4, 5, and 6. So it's like, dude, this isn't even like trying to draw us onto something that we don't know, because Leia, Keira Knightley, hell with Natalie Portman, Keira Knightley. And then it's like, oh yeah, well, we got like pink-haired Admiral chick trying to kill us all. We got Rose. Rose is pretty freaking cool. And then we got Rey. Okay, okay, I guess the times we live in, we need way more female. Oh, and by the way, Luke Skywalker, once again, I've said this before, but he hid in shame like a bitch. Even though he rose, even though he, was standing up to Vader and everything. No, he's just hiding out like a bitch. He severed his ties to the Force because Kylo. Okay. So episode 9. Everyone seems to hate episode 9, although I will flat out say I think a lot of people hate episode 9 because of the problems created in 8. And I'm not being like, women are bad and women are the devil, because, hey, I'm married to one, okay? I like the women's. I'm pretty fair with the women's. But I think all the problems in 8, all the things that 8 destroyed, the main villain, the reason, even the whole reason Rey knows the Force is like, oh yeah, you're just a castaway. Okay, great. Yeah, I'm a nobody. Thank you, episode 8. I think 9 had this problem where they had to fix everything. And because they had to fix everything, they came up with it was a good movie. It was okay. It was the best Star Wars movie, but it would be like episode 5. In my opinion. Episode 5, maybe episode 2, somewhere in between episode 1 and 2. That kind of quality. I'm like, okay. It's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say maybe a 3.7, 4, if I'm being generous. It was enjoyable. But yeah, biggest problem I have with that is it's like, oh, Rey's connected to this guy, and she instantly knows how to use the dark side. Again, the dark side kind of special moves, they need to be taught. Not just, oh, it's in your blood. It wasn't like, are you saying it was in Darth Vader's blood to just choke people? Feel like, it's in my blood to choke a bitch. No! He had to be taught that shit. And most of the shit he just figured out. But she didn't. She's just like, how did I do that? I don't know. Rose, they downplayed. Rose is probably the biggest thing that I have to gripe about episode 9 is because they just totally downplayed her character.
Yeah, I was pretty angry about that.
Yeah. Once again, she's one of the coolest thing about 8. Her and Finn. Her relationship with Finn. Instead, in this one, there's like a new chick comes out of nowhere who's like, oh yeah, I am a stormtrooper who turned away from her stormtrooper training to go out and do the thing and just not be a stormtrooper because it sucks. And so it's pretty much the exact same story as Finn. And Finn, like, doesn't really... Does he kiss her or anything like that?
No.
Okay. So there's kind of, like, chemistry in there, but they don't really do anything. They don't really...
I think it was more like there was no romance involved, but I think what it was it was kind of like a friend relating to another friend because they both know
And see,
what
I
the
could
other's
have,
gone through.
I could have swore like they got a little bit more to that in the climax with the whole riding the horses on the storm, or not stormtroopers, friggin' Star Destroyers thing. But maybe I'm just imagining things. Basically, you know, for me to talk about episode 9, I have to talk about my idea. And Arctic's gonna admit my idea is pretty freaking badass.
Which, yeah, you've told me before, is like, honestly, I could see that happening.
So, my reason for what I wanted to see in this new trilogy, if I was to write 7, 8, 9, what I would have done was Rey is like the reincarnation of Anakin Skywalker. So kind of like the idea of the reincarnation of Jesus Christ or something like that, where it's like, dude, you have all this person's powers and everything, but you're not the same person. So you're going to have different experiences, you're going to have different ideologies, and you're going to have this. So with 7, you know, first of all, 7 was a good movie. And with 8, what I wanted to see was her fight Kylo. If not kill him, specifically defeat him and become pretty much the new pawn to Snoke. Possibly even kill Snoke because she is primal. And when I looked at how fierce she acted in 7, it really did remind me of the game Star Wars Force Awakens. Or not Force Awakens, Force Unleashed with Vader's apprentice, where he's just like, I'm just gonna crash down an ATS, you know, that kind of thing. And that's what and I was hoping with Finn, because in episode 7, there's a scene with Finn just using a lightsaber. And he's not really good at it at first. But when he sees Rey is in trouble, he rushes to her side, fighting Kylo Ren in one-on-one combat with a lightsaber, and it's pretty badass. It is compassion about how he feels for his friend. And this made me think, dude, what if she turned to the dark side and Finn was meant to be the Jedi Knight to counteract her? And this is where my shit gets real. Because with episode 9, I did not want him to kill Rey. I actually wanted to see him fight Rey, kind of like an episode 3 deal with Obi-Wan and Anakin, but he was able to get through to her and basically tell her, stop, you know, blah, 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 blah. We need to have peace, and there needs to be a balance through the Force. We need a light and a dark, and that's what a proper balance is good and bad working, you know, together. Because, like, hey, volcanoes and stuff, that's where Vader lost his arms and shit like that. Dude, volcanoes generate heat. Volcanoes create landmass. Landmass, or it's the volcanoes, that volcanic activity that meets water, which is the building block of life, if you believe the Mortal Kombat thing, you know. And then it creates landmass. And then from there, it creates, you know, freaking like trees and stuff like that. And it creates new life. And the idea I was getting from 8 was that Rey was going to be a gray Jedi, was something in between good and bad. And she was going to, you know, walk that line. And that's once again where I was like, dude, this would have been a great example. Is the two would have kept each other in check, yin and yang, and it would have been perfect. No, let's not do that. They did kind of do it. I did want to see Kylo go back to the good side, because you could tell in 7, he didn't really want to, you know, do things. And I'm trying to stay spoiler free, but he didn't want to do certain, you know, bad things. And, yeah. So they kind of did that in 9. And I do like how in 9, they made him realize the error of his ways. And he goes back to the good. And he fights alongside Rey with the ultimate muckety muck. Unfortunately, that ultimate mucky muck just kind of felt tacked on. And I'm like, of course, clones, stuff, bad things. Okay. Something else I really liked in 9. I did like them bringing Lando back. This would have been totally Disney, but I would have really liked to see Finn be Lando's son and be introduced that character for that reason. For, you're my son. I'm Lando friggin' Calrissian, the coolest friggin' thing in the galaxy. And now my son is getting to be a Jedi Knight. That's pretty friggin' cool, But it didn't happen that way. And they're just kind of like, yeah, I'm just a mole on the planet, and I'm your secret agent contact man, and when you see Leia, you give her my love. And it's like, sure, Lando, unfortunately, with all due respect to the memory of Carrie Fisher, that also felt really tacked on, where it's like, okay, Lando, you're kind of late to the party on that one, because we all know how that's gonna go, and that's literally tragic. Literally, I mean, I'm not even trying to poke fun, but it is tragic that Carrie Fisher, she passed away, before the series even came to fruition, and that sort of deal. But for what it is, I'm like, 9 was okay. One of the biggest, this is gonna be a super spoiler, so don't watch this if you don't want it. One of the dumbest things, the dumbest freaking thing, is the entire ending of episode 9, in which she is on Tatooine, and she has Luke's lightsaber and Leia's lightsaber. And the idea is, I'm gonna bury them in the sand. First of all, Leia's never even been to Tatooine. This is not her home at all. Her home was destroyed. It was freaking Alderaan. The closest, Naboo would have been a closer thing, but I guess we're not addressing that because Gungans are lame. I'm sorry, we already have internet people copying Jar Jar, calling things boomers. Idiots. But no, so maybe it's the non-boomers who came up with this freaking story plot. So, okay. If you know much about Star Wars, and my brother talked my ear off about this because he really likes Jedi shit and whatnot, and I like Han Solo, I like the Stormtroopers, I like the ships. That's one thing I like about it. But he explained to me one of the final tests of a Jedi is to build your own lightsaber, which is why every lightsaber of Obi-Wan Kenobi's is different, because he loses it in episode 1. Anakin's is different than, certain other people. And that is why Anakin's lightsaber, when Luke loses it in 5, episode 6, Luke creates his own lightsaber. So in episode 9, it ends with Rey burying Luke's and Leia's lightsaber in the fucking sands of Tatooine. And then a new lightsaber comes up. I guess lightsabers fuck each other and then produce a baby? And that's how she gets her brand new lightsaber.
And that's the life cycle of a lightsaber.
It's the life cycle. So, yeah, this whole plot thing, that we've seen in video games, and, we've had our nerdy brothers talk to us about, and it's like, Eric, what can you tell me about an X-Wing? I don't know. Okay, that's great.
I had no brothers.
Poor Nicole. But the point is, we hear all this stuff, and we learn all it, and it's like, then it's like, oh hey, yeah, it just comes out of the sand and it has a brand new color and everything, and it's like, wow, yeah, no, okay, that was the big plot twist between episodes 5 and 6, huh? Was Luke had to find 2 lightsabers to stick in the fucking mystical sand to Tatooine so he could have a brand new one-bladed lightsaber. Kind of worried how Darth Maul got his double-bladed lightsaber at this point. That would probably be like a XXX Star Wars movie.
Maybe it tried to produce twins?
Maybe they were on drugs. Like that episode of Simpsons with the octuplets. Which Simpsons is owned by Fox and frickin' Disney now. Yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty much my thing on the Star Wars movies. I like them for the most part. I'm not a part of that culture, I guess. Sure, they're fun. Some of the games are good. I have Super Return of the Jedi for Super Nintendo. Star Wars Jedi Outcast, which came out 2002, 2003. Probably my favorite Star Wars game. I like Battlefront too. The new one, Jedi Fallen Order, I don't know. It feels too much like just, it's Dark Souls all over again. So, I don't know. I'm not really that big on Star Wars, but when it comes to the movies, I'm like, I know what I like and I don't like. And that's a lot of shit that I don't like, honestly, freaking my storyline idea I felt was way better for 7, 8, 9, and I get it. They're not gonna be like, hey, let's telepathically, steal that dude's idea because that's what the fans want to see. First of all, I don't even know what other Star Wars fans would have wanted to see that, but I'm just like, dude, I personally think that idea is freaking cool, And that's another problem is the trailer even showed, oh, well, this is Darkseid Rey, and she has a double-bladed, switchblade lightsaber that can go from, 2 blades vertical, and then, she just flicks her wrists, and then it goes to a double-bladed lightsaber, frickin'...
I kind of thought that was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, Arctic here thought that was pretty cool. And it is a scene in the movie, in the final product. But it's like a 30-second vision kind of deal. And it's like, oh. Damn you, Disney. Damn you to hell. So, which I don't even know if that's really Disney's fault. But yeah, that's the stuff I hated. I hated the Star Wars movies. And, I don't care, the whole Metachlorians thing, I'm like, who cares, it's freaking space samurais versus Nazis, I mean, come on.
Well, in your defense, you're not necessarily a major Star Wars fan, and he only watched it because I am a Star Wars fan.
No, I've watched Star Wars before her and I hooked up. I mean, hell, I have the box set of the original trilogy. But, yeah. No, Terminator's more my jam. RoboCop's more my jam. Aliens is more my jam.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Star Trek was more of your jam.
I don't want them knowing that I'm a Star Trek nerd. And I say nerd, not a Trekkie, because I'm not a freak, okay? I'm not like, oh, yeah, the Enterprise is real in an episode. No. You know what? I've seen Star Trek. First of all, I don't even really like the original show. I'm not a big fan of, the original cast. Granted, it started everything. Oh, she just sparked a whole nother rant for a whole nother time. But, I grew up with Star Trek Next Generation. I have the Star Trek Next Generation game for the Sega Genesis. And, Picard is pretty cool. he's a cool guy. My favorite dude is still Riker. You know, um, yeah, I'm not getting into Star Trek. This is a Star Wars rant video, Arctic, and no, no, internet people, I'm not a Trekkie. I'm not a Trekkie at all. I can't tell you what episodes numbers it was where freaking Tasha Yar had sex with Data stuff. That's weird. It's weird, right? Like it's weird, you know. Um, or what specific episodes it was where Riker had a beard and which ones he didn't. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, Arctic, is there anything more you want to say?
No, I think I'm done.
Okay. Well, in that case, I hope you have a good night, everybody.